Tonight I'm Cat's special guest. Well, that just like came off. That's like, wow. Come on.
Promise I didn't touch
Oh, do I need another? I just broke it. And we're live streaming. So I broke it on the. Let me see if I can. That's why we can't have nice things. Let me see if I can. We don't need no broken stands. We don't need no broken stands. We just need one that works. Just such a shame. It's like a comedy thing tonight. No comedy. It's not with music. Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen. Whew. I think we need to light too. Don't you think? Green, blue light. Yeah.
Where's my light?
You get one too?
I get a light too?
There you go. Yeah. I dressed down for the occasion, so I apologize. Play the chord. It's very clear our love is here to stay, not for a year, but forever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time they'll go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we go a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay. But our love is here to stay. But oh my dear, I love this here to stay. Together we'll go a long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They're only made of clay. But our love is here. Our love is here. Our love is here to stay. Thank you. Welcome everybody on this Friday night. On this lovely Friday night, we are celebrating singers, specifically male jazz vocalists. And I was talking about this last night. So obviously, historically, you know, over the past 100 years or more, way more, you know, the music industry in general, whether it's pop or rock or jazz or whatever, you know, probably up until more recently has been, you know, a male-dominated thing. But when you look at, and it's no different in jazz, except with the singers historically, there have been more female jazz singers, quite a few more. Now, when you put two and two together, there's some pretty obvious reasons for that when you look at history, especially when music started going into film. You know, they wanted the females. So, you know, for better or for worse, you know, the females that sang tore it up. I'm being seriously. They were. I mean, there's a lot of great jazz singers and blues singers, females that I can name off that are quite outstanding. I mean, from then and up until now, just fabulous singers. But there's also some fabulous men, and there's some men that really influenced a lot in a lot of different ways. And of course, the first song we did was a song that Louis Armstrong did. Now, the thing about these tunes, everybody did all these songs. So it's, you know, somebody will say, you know, do that song by Frank Sinatra. Or Frank Sinatra didn't write any tunes. In fact, most of the singers that I'm doing tonight didn't write. No, there's a few that actually did. In fact, there's one in particular that we'll do in a little bit that wrote a very huge hit, very huge. You'll know what the song is when I mention it. But so Louis Armstrong, obviously, you know, trumpet player, known for his trumpet, but also for just influencing vocal style in jazz. Because before Louis, there wasn't really a thing. There was singers, and you had the crooners, and you had crooners who paved their way into jazz. We'll talk about that also a little bit later. But this next guy is one you can consider one of those guys by the name of Billy Eckstine. Anybody know Billy Eckstine? A wonderful singer, and he had this great baritone voice that was just amazing, and you know, he comes from that really old school crooner, but there was just something different about his voice, and he became really an essential vocalist in jazz, and he's sometimes overlooked by some of the other ones that are really popular, but Billy Eckstine's very, very important. We're going to do a song that a lot of people have covered, And there's a singer that we're going to do later that I think was really influenced by Billy Eckstine. But this is Body and Soul. My heart is sad and lonely. For you I sigh, for you, dear, only. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. I spent my days in longing and wondering why it's me you're wronging. I tell you I mean it. I'm all for you, body and soul. I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it, that you turn away romance. Are you pretending it looks like the ending, unless I could have one more chance to prove it, dear? My life a wreck you're making. You know I'm yours for just the taking. I'd gladly surrender myself to you, body and soul. I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it, that you turn away romance. Are you pretending it looks like the ending, unless I could have one more chance to prove, dear, my life a wreck you're making? You know I'm yours for just the taking. I'd gladly surrender myself to you, body and soul. That's Cat Shoemaker on piano, by the way. Anybody ever heard of Nat King Cole? By the sound of your voices, you don't like him very much, so we'll skip him and go to the next. No, Nat King Cole, obviously amazing, and people forget he was an amazing, amazing piano player, like astoundingly good. He was very good. He was playing piano first before he was singing. He was encouraged to sing kind of like, I talked about this last night. So George Benson. George Benson didn't sing until Quincy Jones convinced him to sing. And that's where George Benson started singing. So it was because of Quincy Jones. So similar, I'm not sure who the one that influenced or convinced Nat King Cole to sing, but he started with the Nat King Cole trio, and before he started singing, they were just playing trio. And then he started singing, and then, of course, the rest is history. He becomes one of the most famous singers that ever lived. I mean, during his time, probably only surpassed by maybe Frank Sinatra as far as worldwide fame. He became that huge. But amazing piano player. But of course, most people know him for his vocals, his smooth vocals. So here's a little tribute to Nat King Cole. The buzzer took the monkey for a ride in the air. The monkey thought that everything was on the square. The buzzer tried to throw the monkey off his back, but the monkey grabbed his neck and said, "Now listen, Jack, straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Ain't no use in jiving. What's the use in diving? Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." The buzzer told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzer right in the eye and said, "Your story so touching, but it sounded like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right now. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top." Buzzer took the monkey for a ride in the air. The monkey thought that everything was on the square. The buzzer tried to throw the monkey off his back, but the monkey grabbed his neck, said, "Now listen, Jack, straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. Ain't no use in jiving. What's the use in diving? Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top. The buzzer told the monkey, "You are choking me. Release your hold and I will set you free." The monkey looked the buzzer right in the eye and said, "Your story's so touching, but it sounded like a lie. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right now. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Baba, don't you blow your top. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. There's a couple stories with that song. One of them, I think one that Nat mentioned or somebody mentioned, it was a quote from his father, who was a preacher, from a sermon. The other story is, obviously there's historically, monkey represents something that's on your back, and that whatever that thing is. So who knows what the real story to that is? Well, use your imagination. Anybody heard of Frank Sinatra? Wasn't very famous. Didn't do much. I love Frank Sinatra. He, he comes from that group of crooners, along with guys like Tony Bennett and Bing Crosby and lots of great singers. Sammy Davis Jr. By the way, one of the reasons why I love Frank Sinatra, because there's story after story of Frank Sinatra basically refusing to play at places because they didn't want Sammy there. He basically would literally walk out and he that's the kind of guy he was. So the more you read and hear these stories, the more you love Frank Sinatra. And he was a great singer. The thing is, he's somebody who didn't necessarily, when you hear early, you're throwing me off because you guys are sitting there. No, you could sit anywhere you're throwing me off because I'm usually used to you sitting there. Yeah, it's just throwing me off. So, no. Yeah, no. They got him first. No, that's cool. It's all good. It's all good. I'll let y'all work it out amongst yourselves. When you hear like the earliest recordings of Frank Sinatra, he sounds actually different. It wasn't like the style that him as, and we talk about the Dorsey brothers. He got a lot of his style from listening to horn players and trombone, and he developed this style. He wasn't an improviser like other jazz singers, but what he did was he was one of the first guys, other than Louis Armstrong, who really was able to flex with his phrasing. He can swing his butt off, but to flex with his phrasing, because a lot of the early singers, they were great voices, but it was more in the box, and it wasn't a lot of flow within the bars. And by Frank listening to these horn players do that thing, he just developed this thing where he felt really comfortable singing his phrases in a way that was very fluid, and he influenced a lot of singers in that way, allowed them to just be more free. Just a real great song stylist. So he did a lot of songs. I'm sure most people have the favorite Frank Sinatra songs. I'm gonna sing one of my favorite songs, Moon River. Yes, I know. wider than a mile. I'm crossing you in style someday. Oh, dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world, and there's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and waiting round the bend. My huckleberry friend, Moon River and me. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbows and waiting round the bend. My huckleberry friend, Moon River and me.
It does that every time. Turns up fun. Good memories. Good.
So remember I talked about somebody who wrote a humongous song? Happens to be a Christmas song. A guy by the name of Mel Torme. He wrote this. I'm not doing this song now, but you'll hear me do this song at some point. Come to Christmas. Come to a Christmas thing. I'm sure there's going to be a Christmas thing. But he wrote the Christmas song. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Yeah. He wrote it in the summer. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. And it's one of the most famous Christmas songs of all. And his family and kids and grandkids are upset. Because all it takes is one Christmas song. All it takes is one. Look, some of you heard me talk about this, but I've got some Christmas songs that I've written. And if you have any connection to anybody famous like Mariah Carey, Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, Beyonce, please talk to me. because all I need is them to sing one of my Christmas songs, and I'm set. And I'll look. We'll have a party. I'm not greedy. I mean, we'll share. Once I start getting them royalty checks, we'll just, you know. We were talking about wines earlier. Oh, we're gonna get the good wines. Oh, we're gonna upgrade. We are going top shelf. But Mel Torme, amazing singer. I got to see him live in 1993 or 4 at Humphreys by the Bay, and it was pretty amazing. Amazing singer. Also an amazing scat singer. There's hardly anybody that's been better than what he can do. If you go on YouTube, you can see a video of him and Ella just going off. I mean, they are going to town. It's a delight. Like when you watch two experts doing what they do best, it's pretty amazing. So I'm gonna do a little tune that Mel Torme did called "Lady Be Good." Of course, if you listen to, like, he has a couple live versions of this, and he starts talking about everybody like Ella and all these people. He's just going off and making stuff up. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna do that. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to talk about. No, I'm good. How's the song go again? Oh yeah, you're gonna play do one time through the head. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweet and lovely, yeah, lady be good. Oh, lady be good to me. I am so awfully misunderstood. So lady be good to me. Oh, please have some pity. I'm all alone in this big city. Oh, I tell you I'm just lonesome man in the wood. So lady be good to me. misunderstood. Oh, lady, be good to me. Oh, please have some pity. I'm all alone in this big city. I tell you, I'm just a lonesome beggar in the wood. So, lady, be good to me. So, lady, be good to me. So, lady, be good to me. That's all you could do. That's all I could do. I can't do no more.
I used all the keys that time, Leonard.
All the keys. All the keys. Everything working fine over there, Trisha? Yeah, good. Right on. We're streaming live tonight, so we are streaming live on there. Huh? Yeah.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle. Yeah, because I know where you've been. No, I understand. I understand. No, I won't say anything. It's all good. It's all good. I was never here. All right. Well, we did a tribute earlier. I just some of these. There's 3 or 4 of these artists that we've done in various tributes. We did a Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald tribute. Who was there for that? And it was, I think this year was like the 14th year or something, 13th or 14th year, something crazy. And it's the first time we did it here, because we've usually always done it at Dizzy's, and we did it a couple years when 98 Bottles was happening. And it was the first time we did it here. We did it on a Monday night, because Valentine was on a Monday night, and we did 2 shows, and we sold out 2 shows. So we'll be back next year here, doing Louis and Ella. This next artist, in May, we did a tribute to Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. Yeah, that was pretty fun. We did 3 nights of that. And so John Hendricks, really, I mean, he's very, he's influenced a lot of people in a lot of different ways, but obviously Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, they were pioneers in the style of Vocalists, which is basically writing lyrics to improvised solos. So literally, there's that famous album that they did, it was like which really put them on the map, called Basie Swings. And it's like they went home overnight and wrote these lyrics and became an kind of an overnight sensation. Ann Ross, who was part of the group, she passed away like a year and a half ago during pandemic. Amazing singer. John Hendricks. Oh, I was saying about Vocalists. Later on, groups like Manhattan Transfer took and ran with that. They did an album in 1985 called Vocalists, which it broke all records for like Grammy. At that point, they won like 9 Grammys or something like that for that record. But John Hendricks, he's played with a lot of different people. There's this album, John Hendricks and Friends, and they do this tune, Freddie the Freeloader, which is from, the original is instrumental from the Miles Davis Kind of Blue record, but it's John Hendricks with Bobby McFerrin and George Benson and Al Jarreau. And it's a Vocalist. So Bobby McFerrin does the Wynton Kelly solo, Al Jarreau does the Miles solo, John Hendricks does the John Coltrane solo, and then George Benson does the Cannonball Adderley solo. It's pretty amazing. And so I love John Hendricks. And this tune that I'm going to do is a tune that I love to do. I always do it in my kind of funky grooving style. We're not gonna do the funky grooving style. We're just gonna do it. If you hear me play enough, at some point you'll hear me do it in my funky grooving style. But I'm gonna do it like it was originally done. He did it, pretty close to when Lambert Henderson Ross did it. They did it like Bobby Timmons wrote it and did it like the original. So this is Moanin'. Every morning I'm a moaning, I'm alone and crying the blues. I'm so tired of paying my dues. Every day you'll find me moaning. In the evening I'm a moaning, 'cause of all the trouble I see. Life's a losing gamble to me. Every day you'll find me moaning. Lord, I spend plenty of days and nights alone with my grief. And I pray, really and truly pray, that someone will come and give me relief. Every morning finds me moaning. I'm alone and crying the blues. I'm so tired of paying my dues. Every day you'll find me moaning. Lord, I spend plenty of days and nights alone with my grief. And I pray, really truly pray, that someone would come and give me relief. Every morning finds me moaning. I'm alone and crying the blues. I'm so tired of paying my dues. Every day you'll find me moaning. 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 Yes, Lord, yeah. I don't know. I do the song a lot. It's one of the tunes that I do a lot. There's some songs that so when you get into this thing called jazz, not just jazz really, but there's certain songs that people sing and they own. They may not have written the song, but stylistically they've put their stamp on this particular song. And you may hear different versions of the song, but this particular artist put their stamp on it. There's certain songs that I didn't even touch for a long time because I just didn't feel I can do it justice. Hearing either one of the original versions or even some local friends who are amazing singers. I hear them sing the song, and I'm like, I think I'll pass on singing that for a while. So it took me a long time to sing this song. I sing this song sometimes now, but it's one of those songs where I feel like it's not a difficult song per se, but it's an absolute beautiful song written by Billy Strayhorn when he was around 16 years old. And one of the guys that I think put their stamp on this song was a guy by the name of Johnny Hartman. And he did an amazing album with John Coltrane, and sang some amazing, amazing tunes. This is one of them. Johnny Hartman, I think, got a lot of influence from people like Billy Eckstine, but Johnny Hartman had his own thing going. I used to visit all the very gay places, those come what may places, where one relaxes on the axis of the wheels of life to get the feel of life from jazz and cocktails. The girls I knew had sad and sullen grave faces with distant gay traces. They used to be there, you could see where they've been washed away by too many through the day. 12 o'clock tales. Then you came along with your siren of song to tempt me to madness. I thought for a while, with your poignant smile, was tinged with the sadness of a great love for me. Ah, yes, I was wrong. Again, I was wrong. Life is lonely again, and only last year everything seemed so sure. Now life is awful again, a trough full of hearts could only be a bore. A week in Paris will ease the bite of it. All I care is to smile. In spite of it, I forget you, I will. Why yet you are still burning inside my brain. Romance is mush, stifling those who strive. I'll live a lush life in some small dive, and there I'll be while I rot with the rest of those whose lives are lonely too. Oh, I'll forget you, I will, while yet you are still burning inside my brain. Romance is much, stifling those who strive. I'll live a lush life in some small dive, and there I'll be while I rot with the rest of those whose lives are lonely too. Johnny Hartman. Billy Strayhorn wrote that when he was 16 years old. That's how can a 16-year-old write with that depth? I don't understand it. Yeah. How about a little Joe Williams? I started going to Mesa Community College in 1991. Right after I went to USIU. Anybody remember USIU? United States International University. My first major was musical theater, and I was studying. It was an amazing performing arts department until they went bankrupt or something crazy in the mid-90s. Funny money, whatever, and then they became Alliant University. But yeah, there's a dude by the name of Jamie Foxx who was going there at that time too. He came over. He's from Texas. He came over on a piano scholarship, and then was doing some acting, theater, and then he left school and went to LA, and then he got famous. Like pretty quickly, like within the next year, it's like, what? He's on A Living Color. What? I mean, it was kind of crazy. Yeah. Send him a there we go. Actually, ooh. Ooh. There we go. You're smart. That's why you're here tonight. That's awesome. Oh man. But so I went to Mesa College in 1991. I applied for the classical music applied music program, got into that, but one of the teachers there, professors there, he did the big band. He just retired like a handful of years ago. He lives in Arizona now, but he said, "You want to sing with the big band?" Asked me if I wanted to sing with the big band, and that same semester I started taking jazz history, and that's kind of where my jazz world. I was studying classical and singing opera tunes, but I was studying jazz. So it's a very meaningful time for a lot of reasons, but this particular song by Joe Williams, one of his most known songs, it's the first chart I sang with the big band. So we're going to sing this tune by Joe Williams. Every day I have the blues. Every day I have the blues. Well, you see me worry, baby, 'cause it's you I hate to lose. Nobody loves me, nobody seems to care. Nobody loves me, and nobody seems to care. Speaking of bad luck and trouble, well, you know I've had my share. Well, I'm gonna pack my suitcase, move on down that line. Well, I'm gonna pack my suitcase, move on down that line, yeah. Well, there ain't nobody worrying and there ain't nobody crying. It seems to me every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, I have the blues. Every day, every day, every day, every day, I have the blues. Well, you see me worry, baby, 'cause it's you I hate to lose. I'm gonna pack my suitcase, move on down that line. Well, I'm gonna pack my suitcase, move on down that line. Well, there ain't nobody worrying and there ain't nobody crying. It seems to me every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, I have the blues. Every day, every day, every day, every day, I have the blues. Well, you see me worry, baby, 'cause it's you I hate to lose. Every day, every day, every day, I have the blues, oh yeah. Well, you see me worry, baby, 'cause it's you I hate to lose. Yes. Every day I have the blues. As you know, people who heard me sing, I love to scat, but not every singer scats, and not all of these singers scat. So I was trying to be true to what these singers do, and I'm like, I wasn't gonna scat on a Frank Sinatra tune, because how would dude, I can't even do it. do we? Some of them probably could, or but didn't. But this next artist, he was from the Bay Area. He passed away just a little while ago. I mean, it's a handful of years ago, actually, not too long ago. And he was pretty amazing, but he fell a little more into obscurity. I think a lot of it because of timing. He started in the 60s, maybe even before that, but really in the 60s. And he did a lot of stuff, but as you know, through the 60s, things change, and toward the latter part of the 60s and into the 70s, really was really not a prominent time for singers in general. Doesn't mean that there weren't singers doing their thing and doing well. It was just a lot of, it was a different thing. You had other singers come along that were doing different things stylistically. I would say in the 70s, it was really people like Al Jarreau that kind of like revived this whole thing and made it relevant. But this guy by the name of Mark Murphy, he was pretty amazing. And I knew about Mark Murphy way back when because he did this song that we're about to do, and it became one of the tunes that was arranged, and I don't remember if it was a Roger Treese or one of the great vocal jazz arrangers arranged this tune, and a lot of schools, a lot of groups did this arrangement. So I think the arrangement that was done in, I believe, in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a tune called Stolen Moments. Anybody know that tune, Stolen Moments? It's a great tune. Originally instrumental tune. And Mark Murphy also, I believe, wrote some lyrics, and he did vocalies, and he kind of did it all. But he just fell under the radar for a lot of people. But the people in the scene knew who he was. So we're going to do this tune, Stolen Moments. There's a lot of lyrics to this song. But I'm going to not... Yeah, I'm going to play faster. Keep it slow down in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, yeah. That's safe. Stolen moments, stolen moments. If I told you I love you, pretty baby, would it make up for what they say? If I hold you and shield you, darling, when you linger a while today, if I hold you and hug you, my kisses won't bug you, the gossips won't hurt you, I'll never desert you. Someday we'll find us where people won't bind us to the hands of time. I can use more than moments, pretty baby, and I know where you steal them from. There are so many things I'll teach you, and they call me a useless pump. They just chatter and clatter, batter and matter, they titter and twitter, the glitter gets bitter, but we're here as did, here it's weird, hear those beards, dear, what's the pantomime? Today, I can use more than moments, pretty baby, and I know where you steal them from. There are so many things I'll teach you, and they call me a useless bum. They just chatter and clatter and batter and matter. They titter and twitter, the glitter gets bitter. But we're here, us dead, here it's weird, hear those beards here. What's a pantomime? What's a pantomime? What's a pantomime? To the hands of time. We talked about Al Jarreau a little bit, and we did an Al Jarreau tribute back in March or whenever. Yeah, he was pretty good. He's one of those artists. Before I got into jazz, I grew up listening to all kinds of music, you know, just everything, pop, rock, soul, Motown, whatever. But it was guys like Al Jarreau and George Benson who I heard on pop radio. I was like, these guys are different. They got there's more complicated pop tunes with chords. You don't hear people like if you hear like a cover band, you're not going to hear them playing usually Al Jarreau tunes and George Benson tunes because they're hard. You got to have jazz players that can play those tunes. So then when I, started taking jazz history and learning, it's like, okay, these guys, George Benson played with Miles and Al Jarreau, their roots are like rooted in jazz. So even when they were doing pop tunes, they were still, they're scatting on pop tunes. I was like, this is cool. What are they doing? That's awesome. Al Jarreau's amazing, and he did this tune that was written by Bill Evans. It was on the Kind of Blue record. It's called Blue and Green, and I believe Al Jarreau wrote these lyrics to this tune. He did a version. He called it. It's parts 1 and part 2. I think we'll just do part 1. Yeah, let's just keep it just a little moment. He calls it Tapestry, and he does this part 1 where it's slow, and then goes into this part 2 where it's fast. We're just going to do part 1, just give you a sense of what Al Jarreau, Blue and Green. I'm like fusing the Al Green, yeah, gosh, Blue and Al Jarreau. So, yeah. Who could we in a stranger's story, a mystery of blue and green, of broken dreams, of symphonies, no fantasies of love and glory, honey from home. So sweet, so bittersweet, tapestries of brass and green an eternity of blue, a sea of green, of love supreme, of blue and green. Thank you. We just got a couple more tunes. We're into the modern great singers. Everybody's got their own little style, you know? It's so cool. Remember we flipped the thing. Yeah. There's a guy by the name of Kurt Elling. And Kurt Elling is, I think, he's been kind of setting a modern standard for jazz vocals since the late 90s. He's an amazing vocalist, amazing song stylist, amazing scat singer, but he's also done vocalese, but he also will improvise lyrics in his performances. So he'll get into a section where he'll improvise and he'll just go off and improvise with lyrics, and it's quite wonderful how he just makes them make sense. Very amazing singer, has done wonderful interpretations of standards, but also taken pop tunes and rock tunes and Stevie Wonder tunes and put just his own spin on it. So he did this record a while back, night something, I forget what the title is, but he took this poem, Theo Rothke, yeah, and he created this melody based on this poem, and this original recording has just vocal and bass. We're going to do our version with vocal and piano. It's called The Waking. I wake to sleep and take my waking slow. I feel my fate in what I cannot feel. I learn by going where I have to go. We think by feeling. What is there to know? Oh, I hear my being dance from ear to ear. I wake to sleep and take my waking slow. Oh, of those so close beside me, which are you? Oh, God bless the ground. I shall walk softly there and learn by going where I have to go. Oh, life takes a tree, but who can tell us how? The lonely worm climbs up a winding stair. I wake to sleep and take my waking slow. Great nature has another thing to do. Oh, to you and me. So take the lively air and lovely learn by going where to go. Oh, this shaking keeps me steady. I should know what falls away is always and is near. I wake to sleep and take my waking slow. I learn by going where I have to go. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to finish tonight with somebody that I absolutely love. I love all these guys, but I'm a huge Bobby McFerrin fan. Bobby McFerrin is really, he's, you can't put him in a box. You can't put boundaries on him. He's done a lot of different things. His parents were classical musicians, opera singers, so he grew up, learning classical music, and then he started discovering other things in jazz, and before you know it, he becomes an international phenomenon. I drove out. I drove out to Texas. This had to be about 7 years ago. One of my former students who, she ended up going to University of North Texas. She was there at the time, and Bobby McFerrin was doing a clinic there. And so I'm like, I'm going to drive out there. I drove out. I thought, oh my God. That's not the only time I've driven it. I mean, my wife knows we've drove out there a couple times. Was it once? Well, we drove out. I drove through Texas once. The easiest thing was flying into Dallas, and then renting a car, and then visiting friends. Because then it's like you drive to, cities, and then you're never driving more than like 3 or 4 hours. That was cool. But when you're driving to Texas, to Dallas, because when you get to El Paso, you're only halfway there. It's like it's so long. And then when you're driving the road that goes up to like the Dallas area, to the Denton area, there's like no major cities up until you get into the greater Dallas area. There's no major cities. So, you know, if you're, you know, stopping to use a restroom, you're stopping in small towns. Yeah. And then if you're driving at 11 at night, there's nothing but trucks. Nothing but trucks. So you got to play the game of passing trucks all night. It's crazy. But he was talking about, and I've heard him talk about this in interviews too. You know, people had asked him about "Don't Worry, Be Happy," and he doesn't ever perform that song. He never performs that song. He hasn't performed that. He said he hasn't performed that song since he was doing the song back in the 80s when it became a humongous international hit. And he talks about when he did something that no other artist would do in a situation like his. After that song, he took a hiatus. And he was like, you know, because they wanted him, they wanted to make him into this thing and have him tour with, you know, these big artists, and that wasn't his thing. And he kind of just, you know, he took a hiatus from that. And it's funny because, you know, I remember watching like the VH1, Where Are They Now? I used to love watching that. And they would put, and I remember one of them was like, Bobby McFerrin, they were talking about Bobby McFerrin was one of the musicians. Where are they now? It's like, no, he's been doing his thing for, like, he's fine, and he's had a very successful career, and he's actually one of the most in-demand musicians. Like, everybody wants to play with Bobby McFerrin. Like, he's one of the most respected. Talk to any who's who in the music world, and Bobby McFerrin is like up there with the best of the best. I can't do half the things that Bobby McFerrin does, as most people can't. He's really about the only singer who can command a whole large audience by himself on stage. He's that amazing. He did this record in 1992, I believe it was, with a pianist who passed away recently, Chick Corea. And he talked about, him and Chick Corea were good friends. They played a lot together. I got to see them play live at Humphreys by the Bay in like 2004 or something. It was amazing. But they did this record called Play. And one of my favorite all-time records, because they literally play. Most of the tunes are doing, they do mostly standards. They do Chick Corea Spain, and it's cool because Bobby McFerrin is one of the best at audience banter, and you've seen some of his videos. He gets the audience involved. He gets them to sing in tune. Like, how do you do that, Bobby McFerrin? All this stuff he does. I think that Bobby was very influenced by a lot of the stuff that Al Jarreau did, because Al Jarreau was also very good with that audience play, but Bobby McFerrin did his own thing. So we're going to finish with a tune that they did on this record, and this tune is a very popular jazz standard. People in San Diego can't really relate to it, just like we can't relate to these songs about snow at Christmas. Like, you grew up in Southern California, like, really? Like, what? Snow? Let it snow. Like, a Beach Boys Christmas? Yeah, we can relate to that. Yes. Yeah. You all hit the mark. But we can't relate to autumn leaves. What the heck is an autumn leaf? Changing colors to brown and red? What is this? I don't get it. I've seen it in movies. I'm like, is that technology? Are they making the leaves do that? I guess there's some of these places in the country, they actually change color. Ours are like brown most of the year. Some places there might be green, and then it just instantly changes to brown and falls off. But there's no like beautiful colors in between. There's just, we got 1.5 seasons here. So, but it's an awesome song. You ready?
I'm ready. Play.
Yep. Well, you're talking to me. You want me to play? You want me to play?
I listen to your story.
You know, story after story. You know, in New York, I was no. Oh, there we go. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we were waiting for. The falling leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear a winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. Do 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 The falling leaves, I don't understand, because I live in San Diego. I mean, we got a bunch of brown leaves, but we ain't got nothing like red or yellow. You know what I'm saying? We can't understand. We just got 1.5 seasons. But there's no reason to complain, 'cause we still got the sun. We still got the fun and the beach. Some of those places are so far away from the beach, but they got 4 seasons and snow. Let it snow. I think I'll keep my rear here in San Diego, but I can still dream about falling leaves drifting by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburn hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon now here, oh, winter's on home. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to Cat Shoemaker on the piano. My name is Leonard Patton. Fun times tonight. Lots of great singers. Hope to see you all soon. Lots of cool stuff happening here at the Jazz Lounge. Go to thejazzlounge.live. You can see what's happening, and there's some cool surprises coming up. Be safe. God bless. Catch you on the flip side.